Yes. Chair, Commissioners, there was an issue that arose earlier this morning as regards the General's credit card statements of September 2024.
Yeah, let's pass.
We have provided a copy of the statement to General and his legal representatives. General, can you confirm that you have the statement in front of you?
That's correct.
General, you'll recall in your interaction with the chair, you mentioned that if regard is had to your credit card statement of September, there would be a transaction of 17,000 for the purchase.
I think the General said
14,000
Yes.
for the purchase of beverages. So can you confirm that this is the account in question you were referring to? You said the credit card linked to your ABSA account.
That is correct.
And General, if you look at those transactions, so it's just the second page of it, you'll note there that there isn't a transaction like the one that you described. Can you see that?
Yes.
And do you have an explanation?
Yes.
Please proceed.
Yeah, after receipt of the slip, I phoned home to establish if ever I used my wife or did I use, and then I end up phoning my brother-in-law who was accompanying me when we went to Zanini to Metro to buy. I said Metro, but he corrected me to Ultra Liquor. And he indicated, no, we didn't use a card, we used the cash, which was contribution from my brothers and everybody who was there to go and buy the cold drinks and beers of that value. So again, I apologize to have indicated that I used my credit card because I solely believed that I used one of my cards.
That's a third version on the same point. You started by saying you used your ABSA check account, you needed money for the Thanksgiving. When it was pointed out to you that the check account statement does not show that transaction, you then said, oh no, it's in the linked credit card. And the commission went through the effort of obtaining your credit card statement. Now you are confronted with that statement, you're changing your version again. You're now saying it was cash contributions from members of the family. But it goes back to the same point. You did not need the money in your check account for the Thanksgiving. So that money was all available to you to be used to repair the vehicle, because that's where Chair started this morning. You want to comment?
No comment.
Thank you. General, we can go back to our topic. I want to just ask you again, insofar as the source is concerned, that whose information you relayed to the investigators. Now, you say you didn't disclose the identity of the source to anyone, and even till today you haven't done so. What did you do about the information that the source gave you? Not the issue about the safety of the officers, but about the information related to attempting to influence the investigation itself. What did you do with that information that the source gave you?
Number one, I informed the commander. Number two, I informed the investigating officers concerned. And three, I requested that the commander conduct the TRA and provide security to the members. and that inquiry should be opened to investigate the veracity of the information in conjunction with the security assessment by CI.
Sir General, what inquiry are you referring to? You say that inquiry must be conducted. What inquiry?
As I've indicated earlier, when the commander write a letter to the head requesting threat risk assessment to verify the information and to assess the severity of the risk, there will be a file registered which will be allocated investigators who will be working with those from CI.
Okay.
And furthermore, it will indicate if ever there is security needed for the members and security be provided.
Yes, I'm speaking about other than the security. You keep coming back to the security. I'm talking about the integrity of the investigation itself. You've just informed the investigators that your sources told you that this is a contract killing, that there is a hit orderer behind the scene, but you don't disclose the identity of the source to anyone. So I'm trying to find out what you did with the information that you had, since you're in the unique position that only you know the identity of the source, to assist with the investigation.
The source gave information to assist the investigation. That is where I said the veracity of the information was supposed to be done through threat risk assessment to confirm whatever was said, is it true or not, or the names mentioned, they are followed, they see if ever they meet with somebody, or they are doing what as the source informed me. So that is what entails the risk assessment, is the whole lot of investigation which is done surrounding them. Also following the investigators to check the integrity of the investigation. The investigation, there is a commander checking the dockets now and then to see if ever something doesn't come out or whatsoever. What I have done on my side in front of the members is to contact the section head of ballistic, Brigadier Mkawela, and indicate to him that there is this case which needs to be prioritized. And we need it to be prioritized in terms of getting ballistic report and linkages in terms of IBs before the next court date. And I also gave him the number of the investigating officer. I indicated that the commander is Hopane, and previously when we were dealing with gang violence, I did make them meet because there was a need of dealing with those things. So that is what I have done. So other than that, I'm not operational. In all provinces, when this happens, I make the province to do what is necessary. Mine is to follow up.
Okay, and so yours is to follow up. So did you follow up?
As indicated, I followed up in, I think it was the 22nd of May, where I called the brigadier, where she indicated in the morning, indicated that she is with Brigadier Ntuli from Crime Intelligence, who is responsible for not cyber, counter. And then he's assisting with the drafting of the request. And furthermore, once when I met with some of the investigators, they indicated they were fine. And so to say, again, furthermore, in the following months, August, September was also going in and out Eastern Cape attending to certain matters which I was deployed on, including KZN. When I learned it was there in the safe house, meaning everything was done accordingly, as I would like to happen. So there's nothing further I've done, and the cases were going court, and further people get arrested and so forth.
Okay, so again, you're going to the security. When the source told you that it was a contract killing, did they identify the hit orderer to you?
Who?
The source. When the source told you that it's a contract killing, did they identify the hit orderer to you?
They told me suspects are contract killers.
Yes.
He didn't tell me who contracted them.
Did you ask?
Yes, I asked to say who contracted them. I said, if you follow up these other people, then you will find out. So I don't know if he was afraid to say out to me to say, yes, this person contracted this and so forth.
But he told you that these, did he tell you that the weapons or the hitmen were connected to other cases?
Yeah, I indicated the weapons will link with other cases.
Okay.
Other murder cases.
Okay.
So hence I indicated that, meaning you will receive more cases from this thing.
Can I ask you to go to page 54 of your statement, which is, and I want to ask you about paragraph 172 in your statement, file 1. Are you there?
Yes.
At paragraph 172, you deal with some of the information that the source had given you, and you conclude that paragraph by saying, and that there was concern that someone within forensic services could potentially interfere with ballistics evidence. Do you see that?
Yes.
Now, witness B in that meeting asks you to assist with fast-tracking the ballistics on the Swart murder, correct?
Yes.
You have information that there's potentially somebody within forensic services that may compromise the investigation. That's what you're being told by your source, that may compromise the ballistic evidence.
Yes.
You call the section, did you say the section head?
Yes.
For forensic services?
No, for ballistics.
Ballistics.
Yes.
And you ask him to fast-track the ballistics on this matter?
To prioritize and allocate to someone special.
At that point, do you say to him, there's a potential that someone within your division or your section may be compromised?
To tell him?
Yes.
No, I didn't.
Why not?
As I said, it was still information to be verified. And I cannot alert the people who is doing that. And I even told, I think it's witness B, said, but General, if you know they're gonna do this, is there anything to do? I said, look, ballistic is got too much people, and they've got thousands of cases. In order for somebody to compromise this, meaning there must be somebody, because there is case manager who is allocating. You don't allocate the case for yourself, and it's different stations, different provinces. So the only thing to confirm and see is when we receive the report, and then we will follow up based on that with them. I said it is simple. I don't think somebody who is graduated with BSc doing that, the only thing what he can do in compromising the information is go to write the information wrong. It can go deeper from that. Exhibit when it's received, it is filed, right? By somebody in a 13, and it is locked. The investigator is allocated, meaning there will be the person who's having the key storage, and the person who's going to do the investigation to go and open it. So the only worst scenario I was thinking, I'm not saying it ever happened, but I was thinking, is somebody, I was thinking loud, I was saying that if it's somebody who can maybe have another rifle and exchange the mechanism so that it cannot match. But if you go and change the numbers, it is easy for us to detect because we're going to take it to another forensic, maybe Western Cape or whatever, then they can be easily founded. But you needed something to verify, to see if ever there is manipulation, and then you can continue doing that. It's an ongoing investigation. It is like how they were saying, I know a name of a warrant given to me to say Zungu. I didn't know which Zungu. I knew that Zungu they say is from Toms. So must I go to and arrange Zungu to come here and explain? You don't do that with suspect. So that file which is opened by crime intelligence is part of the investigating of the whole. And then hence I said there must be a team. And they know it's not the first time we do this. And that is why when they said Herbert, I said Herbert knows better. I have done many a case with him when I was still in Gauteng, even when I was still in the head office, where we were called to assist. So I couldn't tell him. It's like telling your suspect. You don't know who is the suspect, but you need to tell him to say prioritize. Then he promised to prioritize. Prioritize by meaning he will give to assign a specific person to deal with it, so that he get the result instantaneously as we have requested. So I think that is where I ended.
You do know that there was an issue with the ballistics in the Swart murder, that there was errors on the report that was prepared.
Exactly.
Okay, so it comes back to my question. You are in possession of information which really everybody only finds out much later. It is actually very scary how everything that you tell the investigators in May of 2024 comes to fruition later on in the year. Because we know that there's an error on the ballistics report. We find out that there is a contract killing. We find out that there is connections, all these connections with the firearms to different murders. You knew that in May of 2024. So it seems to me that somebody who's the component head of organized crime, who on his own version would engage in, disruptive operations, wouldn't see the need here to intervene at that level, to say we are dealing with something here where I have been informed that this is a dangerous situation. You were in a similar situation yourself when you did an investigation. You also know that the investigators are under threat. I understand you take the steps to ensure or make suggestions that they be placed into safety. But isn't your obligation also to the integrity of the investigation itself?
Yeah, we work on a command chain, and as I said, sometimes I'm somewhere and I cannot be all over. If I tell the commander to say this is the danger and then this need investigation, crime intelligence must follow on this, and it is how all these big fishes you see arrested, it is happening. It's not the general who's coming out there running around. It's the general advising, giving them the necessary tool, giving them the necessary information. I informed them that there is this information which needs to be verified. Did they verify with CI and everybody? And then they formed such a team. And I was so happy to say that team is there. Now they can work as an old machine and do what's supposed to be done. But I was not responsible for going and checking those dockets and so forth. And you will know, if you phone and ask about things, they will refer you to a general who doesn't want to talk with some other people. And when you phone such general, sometimes they don't answer their phone. But not trying to make me feel better. I have done what I was supposed to have done, and I was not the investigating officer, and I informed them what might happen. and then what must be followed up. So now if everybody wants to say, okay, Shibiri knew this, he told us, unless if they said he didn't tell us this might happen, there is this information. Did somebody come here and say, I verified the information, I did this after verifying, and I looked at this, and then this is what we have find out and dealt with somebody like this. So up to so far, the arrests were made through the ballistic. But those who were mentioned to be involved in what and what and what, people chose to do what they wanted to do, not involve other people. Because some of us became suspect of being privileged of having information to provide to them. So as far as I'm concerned, commissioners, I done my part, it ends there. I didn't do anything further. And I ended there. People were supposed to gather information based on the information I gave, and if ever there is further need, I was supposed to be consulted. And I was isolated, not consulted for the reason known by them. But now I must come now here and explain the reason why I was excluded, whereas I started this.
Can I just ask the question differently? You are at national, and this is a provincial operation, am I correct?
That's correct.
Yes. How does it work? And maybe that would provide part of an explanation about your involvement and the limitations, if any, that you would have had because of your role. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think there may have been a suggestion, if I'm not mistaken, that your involvement was unusual. This is a provincial operation, and then you took an interest in this matter, so there might have been suspicion. I think that was a gist of the evidence about your involvement with this particular SWART matter. How does it work? You're national. How do you become involved? And I'm asking in terms of your own operating procedures and even just practice, everyday practice. How do you become involved with a provincial matter, and what are the boundaries? How far you get involved to a point where you say, this is permitted, but beyond this, I don't have any further role to play. And I ask the question with the hope that it provides an explanation for the limit, why you become involved at some point, and then you say, well, I left it to others, I gave them information, and they're supposed to run with it.
In the absence of a detective policy, we have national instructions, right? And hence we are having structures in SAPS. Starting from national, the structures, I think, are governed by the plan, the midterm plan by the National Commission, where it will decide you will need how many people to deal with what and the budget and so forth. So, there is a national instruction called 12 of 2017. It calls detective policy. It indicates that on top, there is, under the detective, there is a DNC, and then there is a divisional commissioner who is accountable to the DNC. Then there is the deputy provincial commissioners who are accountable to the DIFCOM. And then under them, there is components head. And under the DIFCOM, there is components head responsible for their own investigation, myself, organized crime. But most of the time, I communicate with whom? With the provincial heads, being the brigadiers, if there is imminent thing.
This would be the provincial head of organized crime. Okay.
Yes. So, for example, I receive information or a complaint from the minister through the national commissioner or through. instead of phoning the divisional commissioner, but that's supposed to be the protocol. For example, the whole saga of PKTT, or let's leave that one. I want to go and get a docket from Gauteng, and then because there is a complaint. For example, the Jerubu Shuha case. Yeah, there is a complaint from head office that they are not getting joy. Sometimes the DNC will say, or the DIFCOM, she will go and zoom in there and give investigative support. Take some few people, and then I go there. I will make sure that there is a state negotiator, everybody is there, a multidisciplinary team, and then we start the investigation. But mine will be supported. The docket will be carried by them. My members will be helping. For example, there were buses banned in Rustenburg. I send people there to go and work with that. I will speak to the DPC, speak to the provincial head to say, I'm sending you 5 members. Where must they report to come and assist you and work with you? Or else, I phone them. I have information there is drugs. I phone Hopan. They say there is drugs and this person is willing to speak to you. I give the phone. Then she phones and then she operationalizes and does that. My job is to provide investigative support to ensure policy and standards by those units under me are performing accordingly. I go and check and make sure that, hence I indicated that there is a NOx where I must see that the provinces indeed they are registering projects which are dealing with their threats from their own provinces. And we've got limited investigators at the province, for example, which you can take them there. And usually we don't want to go and take the docket. That is why we want to go there and read the docket and give instruction. Because Gauteng is very small, unlike other provinces. And people knows where is the head office, people knows where is the provincial office. They walk in. So I will call the investigator to come with the docket, read the docket, give directives and give a broad forward and make sure it is done. And tell the commander that follow up on this, there is this and that, is it done? So it's limited sometimes to say. Sometimes I will have information and they say they are going to do this and that, and then people are coming to rob and are getting firearm. Then I will phone special forces and phone the commander that other side and said, hey, let's meet. We reconnaissance and then we go and wait for those people, or in order to stop that. It will depend from crime to crime. This was an investigation and it was a planned thing which ought to happen. And during the time we were speaking, already the matter is postponed. I don't know, the attorney will go and meet them at the court or when, but they were made alert so that they can make preparations to say we are ready. If the money comes, we can pounce, we can do 212 and arrest and do whatever. And then when we receive the forensic report and we check there is something, we can highlight it. Because I remember once B phoned me and said, hey, the report we are getting is we are not getting joy. I said, okay, where is your brigadier? In order for me to escalate with General Mulauzi, let her send me an email. Let me send me an email so that I can engage. And then we take it further. It never happened. I thought they resolved between Brigadier Hopani and Brigadier Mkabel. But it is difficult to approach a senior officer by something you are told by mouth which you didn't see, whereas there's no correspondence. Maybe my mistake was I should have, after briefing everybody, wrote a letter to the DPC through the PC, signed by my DIFCOM, to indicate that I reported this, they must monitor. That is where I say that was my mistake. But usually I have done so, there was never been a mistake. Everything was carried out to the letter. So that is where maybe I can say I made a mistake. I should have made it formal after meeting them, informing them, and then and send a correspondent. And I'm close to the DPP DPP of not DPP, SPP of Vereeniging. We were working together in lots of projects. Maybe I could also phone there and inform there. But I said, let me not jump the gun. Let them do the risk assessment and confirm the information and do the right thing. So yes, that is where maybe I can blame myself, not writing a letter.
Okay, so and then now let's bring it to what in fact happened. In your discussion with Brigadier, and this is me still trying to understand where a failing in quotes may have happened. In your discussion with Brigadier Khopane or Colonel Mokoena, did you give them sufficient information about the source, what you've received from the source, the kind of information that you got to the source, for them to be able, or for you to expect, in fact, that they would then have gone to crime intelligence? Because I think I've understood you to say, I shared information and someone should have then taken it up to crime intelligence, and I think you have a name specifically that you say so and so should have been informed and then would have dealt with it. Did you provide that kind of information to these two seniors that you could say, that you are able to say the failing happened between the two of them because they had sufficient information and they should have gone to crime intelligence? Or would it be fair to say, no, but General, you had all the information, and please, General, be mindful that it's a question I'm asking as an alternative, that, General, you had all the information from the source. It was you who should have gone to crime intelligence. Which one is it? And I ask the question in this way because I'm trying to understand how it works, especially where on the back of the question that Ms. Sigels is asking you, the what did you do kind of question.
Yeah. Number one, I said I've spoken to Brigadier Khopane and I indicated that I gave a limited information. And then she referred me to Brigadier Mokoena. I gave him full information. And then I met with the members. I gave them full information, and the members went back to Colonel Mokoena and gave him full information. And I remember somewhere they indicated Colonel Mokoena made them sign the threat risk assessment forms. But my understanding is, and what I've done when I was there is, when they research, I write a letter as a component head to be signed off by the DPC, to the PC, and to the provincial head being General Kalakala. And from there, General Kalakala will assign. But if it is imminent like that, the colleagues, because there was Herbert also working on that, he could have been informed and initiate also, whereas they are waiting for documentation. And when I phoned General Khopane following up, indicating that she was with Brigadier who was assisting her in drafting the request for such, I was happy because the Brigadier Ntuli is knowledgeable, is dealing with that. So that is that I believe there was sufficient communication to ensure that this happened. Hence, I was convinced that even for them to go to the safe house is because of that. Because let me tell you, commissioners, provinces doesn't provide safe houses. Meaning, if they say the threat amounts to safe house, then they will communicate with the DIFCOM at the head office to say, because it's under secret fund, that we need this type of services, and then it will be then allocated. to say, no, we are having how many members, how many TRT, how many combat, how many investigators and whatever going to be housed there, so that they know they procure what kind of a house for them if they are not readily having one, and the funding. Then there must be a project registered in order to do the funding, because you can't get the funding from the normal funding.
Thank you, General.
Thanks.
Thank you, General. General, let's move on to the allegation that was made by witness A about the seeing you at a house party. You recall that with Vusi Ndlala?
Yes.
Now, you've addressed that in your witness statement, and you acknowledge that the meeting, you were there, you say it wasn't a party.
Yes.
You are aware of the allegation by witness A that he considered that to be another attempt to see whether he was susceptible to receiving a bribe. You're aware of that?
I'm aware, and it's very strange.
Can you, just before I continue, tell me why it's very strange?
It's very strange because he is called by his friend without my knowledge, and I was so surprised to see them there. And then now it is turned to be something which is linked to some sinister arrangements to them meet with somebody, I don't know who, but Vusi Ndlala, whom you call Vusi Ndlala, is not Vusi Ndlala, it's Vusi Makubela. And Ndlala is the owner of the hotel. He's his half brother. So I happened to go there, not on invitation, because it's a villa and spa, it's a sort of a boutique hotel. And then we used to go there and entertain ourselves. It's a private place. For us, it was private. As police officers, more especially as seniors, because we were sitting in a private lounge without mixing with other people. And we will inquire before going there if ever it is not fully booked or there's no any other guest. So, on that day, I think it was on the 25th, I attended a meeting here at Mainland Main. At I can't pronounce it proper. Shandi or whatever. It's a Chinese restaurant. I was with the DNC and General Sintumule and the Chinese people from the Chinese embassy. There was new police officers who came attachis because others left, and there was an outcry about kidnapping of the Chinese. So we had the meeting there and lunch. After that, I phoned Vusma Kubela, who happened to be known to me, and we are close. And then he said he's there. And then with other friends. That is when I went there. When I arrived, I ordered a drink, and then there is a speaker. I played the music. I like music with my phone. So we were about 6, if not mistaken. And then witness A and Lela and I think another gentleman with 2 ladies arrived. And before their arrival, there were 2 people who were introduced to me as police officers, a female and a male.
Yes, I recall that evidence,
Yeah.
General.
So I didn't know about the party, and I could not have known that there would be a party because I was not invited. I invited myself there that day.
You see, witness A seems to be of the view that if Vusi Ndlala is someone that has information, not necessarily your source, but if he has information about the Swart investigation, and there's an attempt to bribe the investigators, witness A being one of them. And from the conversation that was had at the 16 May meeting, it became apparent that witness B was not susceptible at all. She was very firm. You recall that you had said, witness B even said to you, General, why isn't anything being done about these police officers that you know are potentially involved in wrongdoing? And you had indicated something about an inquiry. You recall that evidence?
Yes, that is why I indicated on my testimony that he even asked if I know about that there will be compromise there and there, why I am not. I indicated I can't just call people without evidence and then start accusing people. And it's not how you investigate and how you will arrest people. I indicated the TRA need to happen, inquiry opened, and proper investigation be done. And then I don't know how she come into the picture on the Vusi Ndala because Vusi Makubela, because she was not there. But they talk as colleagues. As I have indicated on my statement and when I was testifying, I was surprised. Why are they there? And I didn't want to make them feel otherwise and whatsoever. And I asked Vusi, jokingly, you didn't tell me you're opening a police station here, because I knew our arrangement is when we are coming there, we will phone. And it will be us friends, not when there is too much people, because we were trying to keep our privacy. Then he said, no, this is my boys, and what he told me is they used to come and have lunch there. And with him, they know each other. So I didn't want to dwell more. I just asked them, are they okay and whatsoever, and let them relax. And later on, I left. So that one that he suspect Vusi, his friend to Vusi, maybe he got reason for that, but I don't have any reason. Maybe Vusi himself will say why he suspect Vusi, and Vusi will say why he whatsoever. And
okay.
I don't know. I can't talk to that.
Okay, General, let's take it step by step. You and witness A and witness and Sergeant Ndlela know Vusi Ndlala, right?
Yeah, now I know. I didn't know by that day.
No, I'm saying it's clear now that that is the case. You all three know him. You know Vusi Ndlala, and witness A and Sergeant Ndlela know him.
I will agree according to how Vusi told me.
Yes.
But I will talk about me and Vusi,
yes.
Not about them, because I don't know the extent of the relationship.
I accept that you wouldn't know that. Now, prior to the 25th of May 2024, was Vusi aware of your request or rule that this be a private place for you and senior officials to hang out?
Who was aware?
Was Vusi Ndlala, or Makubela as you call him, was he aware of your request or your instruction that this place that you utilize to have your gatherings, that it's only for senior police officers?
No, it's a business. We phone when we go there. We were given that allowance to say, if we want to come ourselves and book and sit as us, we can do so, but prior phoning. But that time I phoned him to say he's there. I was passing by seeing him. It was not that arrangement.
And what time do you say you called him that day?
I think we finished around 3, between 4 and 5. I might have arrived there around 5 or something like that. I'm not sure.
So you arrived around 5?
Yes.
Witness A and Sergeant Ndlela, according to witness A, says that they arrived in the evening. Okay? So Vusi knows that you are there already at 5.
Yes.
Does he know that when you are there, you don't want junior police officers there?
where I'm seated.
Yes.
Yes, where I'm seated, but this hotel is big, has got other venues and they are doing business. I can't stop business because I'm there. But he knew that our arrangement is when we are there, maybe booked there mustn't be other people whom we don't know. It's either will be his friends or my friends. So that was the arrangements.
So when he doesn't tell you that Sergeant Ndlela and Witness A is coming later.
He didn't tell me anything.
And when they come there, you interact with them.
They said he introduced them to me, I greeted them.
So if he knows that you don't want them there, when you are there, why does he introduce you to them?
The statement is incorrect.
Okay, please correct it for me.
You see, you're saying if he knows I don't want them there. The question maybe must be if he knows that I don't want people whom I don't know to associate with, why did he invite them there?
Okay, so what's the difference? Yeah, because you remember, General, later on when, on the 31st, or the 30th, when Sergeant Ndlela goes alone to the White House, where you are with General Ntombeni and with Brigadier Nkwashu, you see, your version is, you see him through the window by the parking, and you go say to Vusi, tell him I don't want him, I don't want these people here, I don't want them here. And he goes and speaks to them and they leave, and Ndlela leaves. Do you recall that evidence?
Yes.
Okay. So there is clearly a protocol. Vusi knows what your rule is.
Yes.
But here, for the first time, and please understand the context within which witness A gives this evidence. He says, I get invited to this party. It's the first time I see the general there. It is after we have the meeting of the 16th of May, 2024. Correct? That is after the meeting.
Yes.
Okay. He says, in his mind, it appears to him that this is another attempt to see whether he will be susceptible to receiving a bribe. That's how he perceives it. Of course, at the meeting or at the party, you don't discuss that with him. You don't. I accept that. But that is how he perceives it. Now, I am saying to you in that context, bearing in mind what you say, that this is your friend, he knows how you want to associate with people or not. Why would he come and introduce these two individuals who you just had a meeting with the week before? He knows that they are your juniors. Why would he introduce them to you in your setting where you want to be relaxed and not be interrupted by their presence?
You see, I will start by answering this one. That is silly for that witness to think what he thought. Because he visited a place invited by somebody. The reason that he never saw me there does not mean I cannot be there. That is a private place and that is a hotel. And again, Vos introduced me to two other police officers because I said I'm passing by him, and it was not those type of arrangements where I'm saying we are coming to sit. I decided to sit even though he introduced two officers whom I didn't know. And then this one come and then he introduced, and I know them because I met with them. And other than that, I knew them by sight because they used to come to me to sign. And I knew I was going to leave. So I didn't want them to feel uncomfortable because of me. And then I let it go. I sat there. It was only me, the senior member, according to me, because the others were Vusi's friend. And then I left. Then coming to the 31st, it was not the 30th. The 30th I was in Zambia. I arrived late. I went straight home. That is why I remember. On the 30th, on a Friday, I knocked off duty, and then I phoned General Mtombe, because we usually come together if we have time. And I think the only time General Mtombeni have time is Friday and Sunday.
Yes, you did give that evidence.
Yeah. On Sunday, Saturdays is Chanel and so forth. So he said no, he just finished doing something he's staying where he's staying. And then I said no, I want us to unwind, we can meet.
Well, General, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. You've given this evidence, so we know what the version is, how it came about. My question was more specific as to what happened on the 25th of May. That is what my question was.
I think Mr. Makubela can answer that better, because I already indicated I didn't know of the invitation or anything.
Now you say that it is silly for witness A to have that impression of the invitation and the actual meeting at the White House. But it is not silly if he thought that Vusi Ndlala or Makubela was your source. Because then it would explain why on the 16th there's a suggestion that there's envelopes available or there's money available. You know witness B is not susceptible to a bribe because she is the one that had actually said to you, why is there not an investigation? Witness A and Sergeant Ndlela are still confused about, and I'm not speaking for Sergeant Ndlela, so let me just speak for witness A. He's confused about what the meeting meant. He's confused about your motives. He's not sure what the reason for suggesting the bribe is. He doesn't know. He gets the invitation. He goes there. Lo and behold, he finds you there. If he thinks that Vusi Ndlala is your source, it makes perfect sense that you are there.
So where did he say he thought Vusi is my source? Because on the transcript I didn't see that, and on his statement I didn't see that. And when did he see me with Vusi? Because that was the first time. So that is why I said it's silly for me, because he doesn't know my relationship with Vusi. I don't know his relationship with Vusi.
General, I'm talking about he's thinking about this after the fact. When after the fact? He thinks about, why am I seeing General Shibiri here? I've never hung out with him. Why am I seeing him here? And why am I seeing Vusi Ndlala with General Shibiri? That is the context within which, and then you must remember, in August when Tau gets bail, he says that he was informed by Ndlala that you told Ndlala that Tau got bail immediately, almost as soon as the bail order was granted.
Yeah, he should have said so, because that one makes as if he maybe smoked something. That if you don't, you saw me first time with a person, you are worried, why do I know that person? I'm not worried you know the person, because we live in this and that place. When I asked him, they frequent there during the day. And then the issue of Vusi Ndlala, of me telling Vusi Makubela about the bail, it's not true. It's not true. I never told Vusi, and we never discussed that thing of them. It's not true. So that is why I'm saying, so I cannot go about the imagination of somebody unless he can give me something to show that I told Vusi that. But Vusi will come, maybe you must call Vusi, to come and say, I told him about that, and why did I tell him about that? And how did I know he's going to get a bail, or when was he going for bail?
Yes, General. Now, that is, so I'm just putting to you that it is not silly for you to say that, because you didn't tell anybody who the source is. Nobody knows the identity of the source. Isn't that the case?
So it doesn't give anybody to speculate and formulate their own opinion based on that. It doesn't give anybody. If you ask me the name, I said I wrote the name, I wrote the cell phone, I'll give it to you. And then you can go and confirm on your own way, but even though it's not allowed. But my source is not Vusi Ndlala. I indicated he was working with the police. And when I met him, and he was sourced somewhere at Crime Intelligence some other time back, and I don't want to be involved in that, and I don't want to testify about that, because it's totally not okay to divulge such information. It's not allowed.
I'm not asking you to divulge that, General.
Yeah, he was not my source, as I indicated in my statement. And him, if he got proof that is my source, maybe it's registered somewhere on a polythene under me, because we can get that on the polythene under who was he registered and whatsoever, then it can be proven. But I'm still maintaining that is silly. That is silly mind of them of whoever thought like that you just see it and start coming with your theories against people and tarnishing their name like that. It's not correct.
General, can I maybe put it this way, that it may well have been a coincidence that it's witness A.
Witness A.
Yes. It may well have been a coincidence that you happened to be there, and and your presence there is all innocent. But I think what you're being asked to comment on without passing judgment about it is that you have witness A who says you called them. They were told by their commander, their immediate superior, that you want to see them. You have said that before this you had nothing to do with this matter. They get called by their commander, you want to see them, and then they come and see you. You have this conversation with them, you tell them that there's a bag of money that is going around, you tell them to be careful, and then B asks, but why are you not doing anything about these people now that you know that they've done all of this? They leave your office, rightly or wrongly. They leave your office with suspicion. You've already told them that someone is trying to thwart or to undermine the investigation. You've already said that. If they didn't know that before, now you've planted that seed. And I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm just saying the nature of your conversation with them. You've planted the seed in their heads that there are big people involved here. Police, it's a sensitive matter. It involves other police in wrongdoing. They leave the office and they're suspicious. They become suspicious about what this meeting was about. And then A says, I then get a call to attend a party at Vusi's. I get there, I find General Shibiri. Remember, at that time he's suspicious of that meeting that you had the previous day, because he doesn't have a proper explanation for it, at least in his head. And then he finds you there. He, according to you, wrongly, and you say silly, but from his perspective, your presence there, him being invited by Vusi to be there and only to find you, and to find you there on the back of the meeting that he's uncomfortable about that happened, he forms a view about you that the invitation was clearly, General Shibiri is here, he tried yesterday, he sent a message to us yesterday, he's here today. This gathering that I've been invited to looks like it's to soften me or to introduce me into that circle, to get me to do wrong eventually. What is being put to you as his evidence is in that context. I think you can say that he was wrong, there was no basis for it, without it necessarily elevating to conspiratorial answers and considerations. I mean, he may have been completely wrong, but he does say these are the facts that he took into account. When I put it that way, do you want to comment further? You don't have to if you feel you have answered this fully.
Yeah, it's tiring. And there's no fact.
Yeah.
If there was a fact, there should be something which was said in line of that investigation, or something said to them by me or Vusi or whatever. So nothing is said. They are sitting, enjoying themselves, invited by their own friend. I'm there on my business, which they don't even know. And then I call them on an official duty, whereby I inform them what I informed. Really? Yeah, it is wearing on me, and I even think, why did I pass this information? I was trying to save life and assist the people. Now I found myself then answering some theories which I don't understand. And it will never be factual to me, because if ever there was something really when they were there, which happened in relation to the case, or I discussed the case with Vusi and whatsoever, or try to ask them, did you think about what I told you? What is the situation and whatsoever? I greet them. I say, feel it well. The only thing which may be awkward, I said, I asked my friend, you didn't tell me you are opening a police station here. Indirectly telling him, you forgot our arrangements. Now here I'm hearing is the 4th police officers arriving here.
Yes.
Yeah. So for his thinking, yeah. I don't know which motivates the thinking to think that way, and I don't see any logic in that thinking. That is why I'm saying, with due respect, it is silly. It feels silly for me to think like that without any reason. But as he expanded to say, Vusi on one time told him that I told him that Tau is going to got a bail. I don't know Tau. I didn't know Tau. And I didn't have interest in Tau bail or getting bail or whatever. What I had interest was the investigators being safe and the case going forward. And the last time I spoken to them I spoken to B that he's out on bail, but they are monitoring him. They are going to sort a warrant because it seems the CCTV shows he's going up and down. And on their statements, that one is not even there.
Thank you, General. Let me stop you.
Thank you. General, now I want to deal with the other issue between you and witness A, and that is the call of the 16th of December 2024. You recall that we had that discussion when you were giving your evidence in chief?
Exactly.
Okay.
That is the one which I was not comfortable with.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, it's fine.
General, I want to ask you whether you want to revisit your version wherein you denied witness A's version of the call.
Yeah, I think commissioners, I even indicated to the commission my reasons why I say I don't recall. And even indicating, am I allowed to recall these names in this platform? Because that will be endangering my livelihood. And that is what I said even that day. So even now, with the council, we did discuss to say, I don't have problem going back to revisiting my statements and also indicating it's not all the statement, it's certain part of the statement. I'm prepared to do that, Commissioner, provided I'm protected also.
General, maybe the issue is this. When witness A's version is A, when witness A's version of the phone call was put to you, you denied it and put a different version as regards what happened. And you were then asked if a recording was produced showing that what witness A says in their statement is in fact correct, and you still say it would not be correct. And it is in that context, I understand, subject to the evidence leaders correcting me, that they then say, since you are sticking to your version, we will have to produce this recording and have it played. Now, if you want to say, I'm revisiting my denial and I now accept that their version as it appears in the statement and the transcript is correct, then I'm sure it can be dealt with that way. But if you insist that your version is correct, then what I understand is that they're going to have to play the tape or the transcript. And so without mentioning names, I hope you understand the context and you can then explain to us what your position is. I'm hoping you've taken advice from your legal representatives and you are able to then tell us what the position is.
Yes, we did. The problem is I don't agree with everything. Others are incorrect. Others are correct. Others are incorrect. For example, I indicated to her to say some of the discussion which they indicated it was telephonically, it was not telephonically, it was in camera. It was in camera, and exactly even on the transcript, it confirms that what I said. So not totally everything which I indicated is incorrect. What I indicated, some are very correct, some are related to what they are saying. So if I say I agree to everything, then it will be like all what was indicated to be said there, I agree with it, and some are not the correct version. They mix up issues.
General.
Just a minute.
We will adjourn very briefly, and may counsel see us outside, please. It's adjourned.